Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. This is episode 226. Remember, like, comment, and share. We're going to jump right into it today because we have some exciting news, big news. I don't know what it's news. This is the podcast. I introduced it as because you formally know it as the SEO Vault. We are moving forward going to be the SEO Mad Scientist. So we are combining everything, going in the full test data driven direction. No more speculating on updates every single week that we have no data on and everyone says different things, and just having random news about what John Mueller posted and why it's ridiculous. Um, Everything we talk about on here that is ever any fun or seems to really be of extreme value is what we're seeing with our tests, which we do a ton of. We've been running the SEO Mad Scientist for 3 years, 3 years. Is it 3 years now? 3 years, yeah, and we're
Maybe even
finally.
four.
It's man, it's
Because
been a while.
2020, 2021, 22, 23. So this is
I
our
feel,
fifth year.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I did it for 3 years, and then last year I did much, much less. But I'm stepping more. I've been running a ton more tests, getting a lot more into the whole research development side of Web 20, and we expect to have a big year for testing, test data, test results. Not even just the tests we're running, but we're doing a lot more with looking at things at a much higher level when we essentially are extrapolating data from our campaigns, where we can pull, the geogrid data from the last 300 campaigns we ran in local Viking and correlate everything that was done, updates that we know of, all that stuff. And that all ties into the new dashboard, which I know we've talked about before. That's going to be allow us to overlay Google updates, campaign tasks, and things like that over your Google Search Console data, along with your rank tracking and all that other good stuff. So very excited for that coming out this year, hopefully very soon. Other than that, do we have any other big news?
No, we're chugging along on the dashboard.
Yeah, working hard on that. So, I mean, we were talking about episode 226 of the SEO Vault, but technically episode 1 of the SEO Mad Scientist. So, and we are technically the SEO Mad Scientists. It's just, that's a lot of
I don't like
S's.
the tests.
Tists.
It's hard to say.
I mean, how else? Yeah. We went around with it a lot. There is multiple of us though, doing tests. I mean, there's me, Mark, Lasha, Vosa, and I mean even Sophie and people that she works with on her team spend a lot of time writing the updates and putting them all together, and which the new test area should be done hopefully soon too. That's definitely exciting, but we're chugging along on that as well, from what I know.
I think the biggest update we're going to have, well, the soonest finished project will be having all of the tools moved into the dashboard. So before we even start using it for orders, we'll be using it for all the tool access. So all the white label case studies and things like that will be in there. And that's pretty much done being built out. We just need to comb through it and make sure there's no issues. And then that should be, I'm thinking next week or two.
Next week or two. Okay, so we'll have some
Yeah.
updates on that in the next week or two. Sounds like. Other than that, I know we got a ton going on behind the scenes, but we also have a ton of tests going on behind the scenes. I know last week we had talked about doing a review on some press release tests. We hope to release something about that soon. That is my fault. Fell a little bit behind on that because I've been actually testing essentially everything that we do at Web 20, not just on a service level like our brand links, mini networks, map embeds, tiered linking, but also strategy wise, how we're implementing keywords and multiple things like that. The press release update that I was gonna do, we were just talking about this previously, Sophie. I think was it March or May last year that I think the very first test I ran, which was on CTA Filer.
That's
And then I think somewhere in there, and then the last
It
update I
was
think we did was
July.
in
The
December,
first one was in
July.
July, and
Okay,
then we did another
July.
one in November. Or no, wait, we circled back in November and looked at the rankings to see how long they had held because it had been about 4 months. And then you did a second, maybe it was a third press release on December 22nd, but that was with a different brand.
Okay, so then, okay, so there actually is one press release that I ran that we didn't report on, which I didn't realize. And we had essentially we ran a press release that linked to another relevant news article, linked to our previous press release, and linked to our target site.
Yes. But I think that one had inconclusive results or somehow they got muddied, so you didn't want to report it, if I remember right.
Yeah, I know we didn't have too much, I think, a result in general. I think the bigger issue was that there wasn't enough strategic direction to draw a conclusion about the result. And that's a problem that I see a lot when people test things is that they kind of, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and that's not
Yeah.
really testing. I mean, it can be a part of the phase of testing if you have no direction and don't know where to start. Um, but even just doing something like uh, custom signals, right? You can run custom signals and you can look at competitor links and you can build all the same links they're building. But if you don't consider how you can build those links better or make those links better, more powerful, or more relevant, or whatever it is, then you're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table, essentially. So, for example, like when we ran our press release, the press release test, a really strong signal that we correlated or I correlated was the title of the press release, the keywords in the title. Um, More specifically, which now I'm testing more into, is having the brand and key variation of the keywords within the H1, the title, and then having a link, essentially an optimized link within the article or the press release. And there was definitely seemed to be a correlation about what the content was about and the type of anchor text built, especially from later tests that we ran where we were not so strategic with the title. It was more of a general. Well, actually, that was the second one that we ran. That the title was very general, and the anchor text that we used to link to the site was very general. And so we didn't see any result on anything, and that's kind of why it was inconclusive, but also why we were kind of trying to test too many things at once. Like we changed too many variables at once and didn't do what we already knew showed a result while trying to add one more variable in. That's why that second test, I probably never reported on it.
Was that with
And
the CTA filer?
yes, yeah, that I ran the second press release about the fact that FinCEN had pressure from Congress or something about not releasing regulations about the new filing laws that went live this year. And so I linked the news article to another news article about that. and the press release talked about the upcoming release of the act and what we currently knew about the regulations and what the speculation was about the regulations that were yet to be released. And then I linked back to the website with an anchor text as well to one of our articles, one of our blog posts, I think. So I wasn't linking to a target service page. I wasn't linking
It
in
was
the
a blog post about the article that
no,
you
it
were
was a
referencing.
blog post about it was a blog post about the need for uh a new kind of a new area of practice of law almost for the CTA because of the regulations and the complexities and the fact that like will you need like an attorney or an accountant to assist you in filing versus I mean obviously the end pitch was CTA filer is software that you can file with that can help you through all the regulations and instead of just going to like LegalZoom and filing or even directly to the government site all the legal stuff anyways um but yeah, everything made sense in that what we were talking about as far as like what the news was, what we were linking to, what had absolutely no strategy or kind of direction was the way we structured the news release title and the links. They were just very general. So maybe even provided value to the user, but from an SEO standpoint was not really optimized in any way that didn't surprise me that we didn't get like really see anything. Um, Especially the keywords that we were targeting were much more competitive than the initial keywords that we were testing. And some of those terms that we saw the most gains with were part of our brand. So there's also that conclusion that I drew, and I don't know if I reported on this with the press releases, um, that there's kind of two sides to the boost or whatever you could say you get from the relevance from like an anchor standpoint and a linking and what you're talking about in the press release standpoint versus the brand standpoint, like showing better for your brand or your brand in relation to your niche or services and things like that, if that
I
makes
just
sense.
went and looked at one of the terms that your press release was showing for, and it is knocked out now.
For a
I wonder if
CTA
that's because
filer,
there's a lot more content now around the topic since the laws came out at the beginning of the year.
it is much more competitive now. Our site still isn't doing too great, but I haven't done too much SEO on it, to be honest. I've done mostly publishing content. Um, but we're also competing with like FinCEN and massive attorneys. Like we were ranking very well for a long time, and then it was just like one day we would just see this massive attorney blog or like LegalZoom or something publish a blog post or an article, and they were just like all over page one, for some of the terms.
Immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And which I figured would happen. Most of the keywords that we're targeting, like I said, are service terms now, or like people actually looking for to file or get assistance with filing and things like that. It's all of the, if you Google terms around the actual act or requirements and those things, that we pretty much lost a ton of relevance. But I mean, our whole site is around a SaaS service for filing, so it makes sense. So we found our niche. We wanted to just get in that area at least. Um, and maybe we'll be $1 billion company someday and be able to beat LegalZoom and all the rest of them. So, but that's all right if we're not. We don't need a whole chunk of the pie. But from a testing standpoint, definitely showed us some insight about the press releases, and I still have a theory about the linking strategy within press releases, but we got to do more testing still.
What about the new test mark setup?
So the new test mark setup is the using YouTube and publishing geo-relevant videos with optimized titles and NAP and links to the GMB. I don't personally have high hopes. I would, at this exact point, I would definitely say inconclusive. I would even say possibly not worth testing in the way that it's currently being tested if we test it again, which we should, I think, but we should change things a little bit. We currently don't see anything ranking that wasn't previously ranking. And the only things that we see moving are things that were moving and somewhat in the areas they were moving when we started, right? So the things that were moving when we started seem to be popping off in some areas more and better in some spots. But this, remember, is just one keyword out of all the key. It's the main keyword. It's the primary keyword. Like if you're a roofer, it's like roofing. I guess I could just say what the keyword is. It's painters, I think, right? Is the main one. Painters is in the, I think, is painters or no, painting is in the company name, right? The term painting.
Let me look. I didn't look at the listing name that closely.
I'm pretty sure it's either painter or painters or painting. I know that the main keyword is essentially in the title, which is fine, but you always have to consider that throws off your data when you're looking at the impacts of any given thing, because branding your site and the impacts of branding your site are different than the impacts of ranking your site for a keyword, right? Like they're very different things. Unless of course you're trying to rank for the brand name. And then that's, partial match domain, exact match domain scenario, but the fact is that's a whole different ballgame, right?
Well, he didn't even fully explain all the things he was doing. I didn't read through all the notes.
All the things Mark was doing?
Yeah, because I know he was doing quite a few things to build the relevance, but he said the YouTube videos were the main thing that was working.
Yeah, that's because he well, I think he messed up some links. Oh, the CID link to the GMB. What are you laughing at? What you got going on over there, Sophie?
Tim's down here.
He's making a ruckus.
Yeah, he's trying to talk to me.
Ugh.
I swear he comes down. It's like he knows every week. 1:45, come down and talk to me.
That's all right. My back's killing me. Anyways, where were we? What were we talking about?
With the YouTube videos and how he messed up the links.
Oh, yes. So he messed up the GMB link, and he also messed up the CID link and the Google Maps link. And so he fixed those. And since he fixed those, that I've also seen what I could say is a very, very slight correlation in rankings kind of popping off more where he was building driving directions and stuff too. So, but still very, very minimal. I would definitely say more testing needed at the moment, inconclusive. But also we have been watching this thing like day to day. I know Mark has. I mean, I've been checking like every day, every few days. So I mean, it's been like 2 weeks in really into the test, and like 2 days to 3 days into Mark fixing the test.
Well, I know he was gonna
And then we're
do a
obviously
couple
going to
more things
test.
and then just let it stick because we've been messing around with it so much.
Yeah, so he fixed the links and he's going to let it sit. And I'm watching it and I'm going to be doing some more testing too. And that, I think we talked about in the last episode, that was the where we want to kind of see if we could figure out some ways to specifically manipulate nodes in any given area and how to influence those specific rankings. So that should definitely be fun to dissect and figure out. What other tests did we have? I mean, we're doing on-page tests. Mark was
A
just
lot of
telling
the
me,
tests just got started though.
yeah, Mark was just
So
telling
there's
me
not
about a
much
ton
to
of schema
report.
stuff that he's working on, and I'm working on a bunch of on-site, on-page stuff. There's definitely a lot. So I mean, I guess I could do a press release video follow-up. We kind of just went over most of that, to be honest. The tiered linking strategy. Um, all those press releases are still live. I don't know if those get dropped or not.
I thought it was like after 6 months they get dropped.
Do Yahoo press releases get dropped? I think
Let's
most of
look.
mine have been still
I
live.
definitely have it up because when I was searching, it's still up
Are you talking about mine?
from June. Yeah,
No, I know mine is. I'm wondering if they normally stay up for a long time. Because that's something I didn't look at, if linking, because I like interlinked the press releases. So they have, like, Yahoo has a press release on one page that links to a press release on their site on another page. And that means now there's press releases on all the other press release sites linking to the first Yahoo press release as well. So, but it didn't dawn on me that press releases do get taken down. And I wonder if we continued that method with a strategy versus, like I said, the second time I didn't really put too much strategy into it. But if we continued that method, but then didn't just use Yahoo and we mixed in the Market Watch and um, the AP News. So like every time we are kind of interlinking around to another part of the press release. And I wonder if we'd want to chain them. My mind's just going crazy with press release tests. Sorry. There's so much to test in so little time. We might be getting some help soon outside of just everyone who's kind of working on the tests now. So
a
that'll be,
dedicated tester,
I wouldn't say a dedicated tester, more of a lab assistant, we'll call them.
a lab assistant.
Yes, we need a lab assistant, for sure. Um, yeah, and they'll definitely be assisting in running tests, but also gathering data, making sure we're tracking the data as we analyze results and things like that. Uh, but testing is its own kind of thing. Like, just testing the right things is kind of where it starts, I think. And like I said in the beginning, if you really want to learn something in SEO, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But if you really want to understand why something's working the way it works and do it 10 times better than anyone else who's doing it currently, then you have to understand real testing, I would say, which is a whole different ball game. It's when you're riding with the big boys, as we say. Sorry, big girls too, or big boy girls, whatever. We're inclusive with all of our lab assistants and scientists. We just follow the results.
Do you have any tests that you're thinking about launching soon?
Launching or reviewing in an update soon?
Launching. I'm sure once you look at all the tests in the library that I did, you're gonna have 20 new tests you want to go. Well, I guess it wouldn't be new; they'd be reviews of old tests.
So yeah, I have a few. I was just thinking about and just wrote down some notes about testing interlinking again and menus and just site linking in general. How links and anchor text on a website influence the ranking of a site on an internal level. And I know way back when I did do a test where I was testing like which page ranked better, like a page that had the word on it or a page that had the UR like a page that was being linked to with it or a page that had the word on it. We'll probably find the test eventually. But it was funny because the page that I hyperlinked the text and linked to the other page, the page that had the hyperlink was the one that ranked, not the page that was optimized for it. Which after like digging in, and again I have to look at the test. I did some other tests too, but I think that was the main focus of that. That essentially there was a rough conclusion that when you hyperlink a word on a page to something, um, it gives more weight to that word on the page. And I know there was two tests there that were involved that, but there was one where I found like this random profile that someone made that ranked for a made up keyword or something, and I linked to their profile with my site, and my site outranked their profile. It was something really weird like that, but hopefully we get the test library together soon and I could reference all of that. But essentially, yeah, understanding how interlinking actually works would be the end goal of the test. And my theory is that relevant interlinking is important, but the exact anchor text used should be there should be more considered along the lines of the page that you're on versus the page you're optimizing for. Did you catch that, Sophie? Does that make
Yeah, I'm
sense?
writing down a note to find the test because now I want to see all the updates in chronological order.
Yeah. I'm trying to
It's hard
think
to listen to you about a test and like put all the pieces together.
I'm trying to think of an example of what I just said. I know I was just thinking one with car accident attorney the other day. Um
You'll think of it as soon as we get off.
I probably will. Yeah. I know it was something along the lines of like if you have like personal injury attorney as like the homepage and you do a blog post about um slip and fall attorneys or something, you wouldn't want to link in the blog post about slip and fall attorneys necessarily with the personal injury attorney city term. You would want to link with the incorporation of personal injury and slip and fall so that like almost like a personal injury attorney for slip and fall injury in Google's eyes, like in the algorithm's eyes, slip and fall personal injury attorney for slip and fall injury is different than personal injury attorney for car accident injury. Like they're the same person in reality, but
Yeah.
there'll probably be different content or pages that get pulled because of those variations. So if you just hyperlink personal injury attorney to the page, you're giving more weight to personal injury attorney on the slip and fall page or the car accident page than the actual personal injury attorney page, wherein that the correlation between the slip and fall or the car accident to the personal injury attorney page is an extension of both of those terms that connect them, not just one or the other. And I think it even can be more direct. Like if you look at Wikipedia, it's literally just the term is the hyperlink, and there's no consideration for SEO whatsoever. So when Google's looking at that, they're probably looking at just everything in consideration with the context of the page and what, their language models, what they know about language, but all of that is just built out in a knowledge graph. But when we're working on like a very fine targeted level, like a business niche or a local business, or even like selling a product online, like that's very small into the grand scheme of language, right? So there's definitely more strategic methods I think we can use when we're more granular than say Wikipedia needs to use, because has everything. You know what I mean? There's a whole different
Yeah.
ball game there at that point. And that's also how like CTA Filer will compete with LegalZoom and some of the bigger brands, because we're not going to rank for legal software or things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was another little rant about interlinking that I hope to test. That was all opinion. I don't have any data. I have loose observation to back that, but no hard data. Expect hard data soon.
Hopefully you can get it started.
Oh, it's
It's a
gonna
lot of
be.
work to get a new test started.
Yeah. I am leaning a lot more on the team now, which is nice. So we do have help as opposed to like the first 3 years where I pretty much did it all myself. 100%. I'm surprised I got anything done in those 3 years, to be honest. It's definitely a lot of work. Yeah, I was looking back on it like, holy crap, that was a lot. Like I tested a lot of things, and it takes a lot of work to do that stuff. So, um, yeah, a lot more tests coming. I'll see, and I'll probably get that test set up, the interlinking test. I'll get that started in the next day or two. Literally yesterday started 5 tests. I'm gonna at least get one more started today, and then there should be at least be another one or two started before the end of the week, or even I'm gonna throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks. Because sometimes you need a direction because you have no idea. Like, and if you do something and you get inconclusive results, and you do something again, you get inconclusive results, that's usually where I take a step back, and then it's time to just throw everything at it and like all of it and see if we can see something. It's when you test and you get a result and you can draw a conclusion, that's when you get more granular and refine and test. So we do have some shit to throw though. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying that. That's a good. Is that a good saying?
We'll need to make a graphic of my.
Get ready for the mad scientist to start throwing some shit.
I don't know if I like that visual in my mind.
Maybe not the best branding for the new
We'll have to come up
thing.
with a different way to say it. But
We're rebranding from the SEO Vault to the SEO Mad Scientist, throwing shit with a thumbs up. Down. Okay. I guess it's a down from Sophie. So we will work on that slogan. I don't think we really need a slogan, to be honest.
no. But it sounds like next week we'll have a lot more to share on the new test you set up.
Oh yeah, yeah, we should be able to talk about a lot more, and I'll have just a lot more tests running we can talk about too. So I guess we could call it an SEO Med Scientist session for the day.
Yeah. I'm gonna come up with a lot more. I want more work,
Get
more
tests. And
testing,
hey, if you're
vocabulary.
watching, give us test ideas. We're pushing hard with tests. Internally right now, literally every single service we offer is going through a testing phase on a individual level, granular level, like the individual bioentity stacks to the individual niche networks versus geo networks, all the way up to the full monthly campaigns, testing the impact of individual months even, as we refine this and go. So yeah, if you have any ideas, any courses, anything that you've heard that's working, let us know. And yeah, do you have anything else before we take us out, Sophie?
No.
Alrighty then. Until next time, everybody. This is the formerly known as the SEO Vault, episode 226. Now the SEO Mad Scientist, episode 1. Remember, you can find us on all your favorite podcasting stations. Like us, download us, take us in your pocket, have fun, stay up to date with all your favorite SEO tests and SEO testing results. And until next time, we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.